They fired her for attitude. Now she's the youngest black CEO in her state. They said she had too much attitude. They said she was too direct, too confident, too loud in meetings. But what they really meant was she didn't know her place. What they didn't know was that firing her wasn't the end of her story. It was the beginning of theirs. The office was too quiet that morning. HR had called her in at 9 a.m. sharp. No email, just a sticky note left on her monitor. See Marla in HR. Urgent. Jasmine Rhodes, 26 years old, second-year marketing analyst at Redbridge Tech, walked in with her head high and her heels clicking louder than the whispers behind her. She already knew what was coming. 2 weeks earlier, she'd spoken up during a pitch meeting, pointed out that the campaign they were planning was tone-deaf and outdated, too white, too flat, too safe. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't curse. But the room froze like she had just flipped the conference table over. The VP, a man who never missed a chance to remind people he marched with King, cleared his throat and said, "There's a way to be constructive, Jasmine. Try adjusting your tone." She didn't adjust, because she'd already spent years adjusting. Her tone, her hair, her ambition, her volume. Not anymore. So now, here she was, in HR, across from Marla, a woman whose smile never reached her eyes. "We've received multiple complaints about your demeanor," Marla began, already holding the termination form. "Complaints?" Jasmine asked. "Or discomfort?" Marla sighed. "We just don't feel this is a good fit." Good fit. That's what they say when you're not loud enough to be aggressive, but too bold to be agreeable. When you make them nervous, simply by being prepared, when you're black and excellent. Jasmine didn't cry. She didn't argue. She took the form, signed her name, and walked out of that glass box with her head higher than when she walked in. Because deep down, she knew something they didn't. She was already building her own empire. Fast forward 18 months, downtown Austin, inside a sleek, glass-paneled building with a black steel logo above the revolving doors. Nova Strategies, founded by Jasmine Rhodes. CEO, Jasmine Rhodes. 25 full-time employees, national contracts, 7-figure revenue, and growing. But the moment that changed everything, it happened on a Tuesday. She was reviewing final edits for a brand campaign with her creative team when her assistant knocked. "There's a guy in the lobby. Says he's from Redbridge. Asked for you by name." Jasmine didn't flinch. "Send him up." 5 minutes later, Malcolm Drew, the same VP who smirked at her across that old conference table, stepped into her office. Except this time, she was behind the glass desk, and he was the one sweating. "Jasmine, I didn't know you were behind Nova. We've, been admiring your campaigns." She said nothing, just gestured for him to sit. He did, clumsily. "I'll be blunt," he said. "Redbridge is struggling. We've lost 3 major accounts this quarter, and your firm, well, you're clearly doing something right." She finally looked at him, calm, measured. "Is that so?" He nodded, forcing a smile. "We'd like to hire Nova to consult on our rebrand." The silence in the room thickened. Then Jasmine leaned back slowly, crossed her arms, and said, "Didn't you fire someone for having too much attitude?" His smile faltered. "Well, things were different back then." Jasmine stood, walking to the window overlooking downtown. "No," she said. "They weren't. You were just comfortable." Malcolm stood, clearing his throat. "Look, this is a big opportunity for both of us." She turned back to him. "Redbridge didn't need me. Remember? I didn't fit." He opened his mouth to respond, but she raised a hand. "Here's what's going to happen," she said, voice steady. "I'll take your rebrand, but it won't come cheap. My agency sets the terms. And if there's even a hint of disrespect in my team's direction, she smiled, just slightly. I'll drop you faster than you dropped me. Malcolm swallowed hard. Understood. The next week, Jasmine walked into the same Red Bridge building, but not through the employee entrance. This time, she arrived as the CEO of the firm hired to save them. Former co-workers who barely acknowledged her at the water cooler now rushed to shake her hand. Marla from HR avoided eye contact. And when the board chairman asked her to speak during the kickoff meeting, she stood at the head of the same table where she'd once been silenced, and spoke like she owned the building. Because now, she practically did. And just when the story seemed complete. One late evening, as Jasmine was locking up her office, her assistant rushed in. You might want to see this, she said, handing over a manila envelope that had just arrived by courier. Inside, a handwritten letter. No sender name. But the signature at the bottom? MD. Malcolm Drew. The letter was short, just one paragraph. There's something you should know about why you were really fired, about who was behind it. If this gets out, Red Bridge won't survive. But you might not either. Jasmine's eyes narrowed. She looked out the office window, city lights flickering like sparks waiting for flame. Whatever they tried to bury back then wasn't finished, and Jasmine Rhodes wasn't done either. Jasmine sat alone in her office, the city humming outside her window. But then, a letter arrived, one paragraph. Signed only MD Malcolm Drew, the same VP who smirked at her the day she was fired. There's something you should know about why you were really fired. If this gets out, Red Bridge won't survive. But you might not either. Jasmine wasn't afraid. She was focused. She had built Nova from the ground up, and now she needed to know what Red Bridge tried to bury. 2 days later, she walked into the next rebrand strategy session. Except this time, Malcolm was gone. Personal leave, they said. Now she'd be dealing with Elaine Howard, the company's sharp-tongued COO. Too calm, too nice, too rehearsed. That night, Jasmine met with Tariq, a cybersecurity friend who owed her a favor. He scanned the letter's envelope and ran a trace. Jazz. This wasn't mailed. It was hand-delivered, from an address 5 blocks from Red Bridge. Then he found something else. An internal HR memo, not the one Jasmine signed. A hidden one. It read, per directive from E. Howard, proceed with early removal. Use insubordination or attitude as rationale. Keep risk low. Jasmine clenched her jaw. Elaine hadn't just fired her. She made sure she couldn't come back. But why? That's when Tariq pulled up the building's security footage, 2 days before Jasmine's firing. Elaine had a private meeting with a man in a gray suit. No Red Bridge ID. Zoom in. Face scan match. Name, Frank Carver. Private investor. Connected to 3 firms that went bankrupt after fraud investigations. Tariq looked at her. This guy? He's not here to save Red Bridge. He's here to buy it cheap. Jasmine's voice was cold now. They needed me gone, because I was their biggest liability. And Malcolm? Tariq's tone changed. That's the thing. I can't find him. His phone's off. His social's wiped. Last ping was an airport security camera. 2 nights ago. Jasmine's eyes narrowed. They didn't just fire me. They tried to erase me. But what they didn't realize is that she came back to collect every piece of what they tried to bury. And now, she wasn't just rebuilding the brand, she was hunting the truth. But one question still hung in the air. Where is Malcolm Drew? Was he running? Was he silenced? Or is he already gone? And if Elaine's covering this much, what else is Red Bridge hiding? If you think Jasmine's story ends here, you don't know what she's really capable of. Drop your theories in the comments. We're reading them all. What do you think happened to Malcolm? And don't forget to subscribe to Truth in Black and White for part 2.